once more. I bet that's what all the finagling was about.
Ah,
And yeah, now they're finally in team preview. They can see each other's teams clearly. Um, yeah, I would expect to see some sort of weather war here, as well as some sort of terrain war. I don't expect Arcanine to come here.
yeah. So right now, I think if you're on Jake's side, you really can just think, that Arcanine, he's probably not gonna come. He doesn't. I think he only hits like one of his mons for super
Super
effective
effective
damage.
damage.
Hits one of them or two of them for neutral. So it's not really gonna be doing too much to Jake's team.
Mm. At the same time, Serena not doing a whole lot to Grayson's team here either. Not hitting any Pokemon super effectively unless it's carrying high jump kick, which Ryota again won Japan Nats with high jump kick Z fighting Serena. So that could be something Jake's running, but I don't know if he's actually willing to bring that over his Golduck, which definitely has the better Z move in this scenario.
Absolutely. So, Golduck's Z move is just so powerful in this metagame, able to just pick up KOs on so many different things.
Alright, and Jake is locked and loaded with 20 seconds to spare. Grayson is going to think about how he needs to keep his tail up, maybe, or some other different approaches to getting around Jake's potential leads. But as time is ticking down on the clock, he's going to have to make a decision soon.
All right, as we're gonna get into this game here.
Hey, they're both wearing the same shirt. It's a pretty good shirt, I think.
Yeah, but I mean, what isn't the thing like where if you like go to a party and someone else is wearing your shirt, like whoever got there last has to change?
Ooh, yeah, that's a. I don't know, man. Which one was seated higher?
Yeah, right.
Grayson is going to start with Vanillic Sandslash, just going to go all Slush Rush on us.
And we are gonna see Jake lead off with his Tapu Koko and
Muck.
Muk.
Ooh. So this is pretty favorable for Grayson at the moment, though that could change in just like that. If weather goes up for Jake, then he can stop this Sandslash from being so fast, but at the same time he has to watch out, because when he switches he's going to take a lot of damage from both of these Pokemon.
Absolutely. And as we've said earlier, that typically Sand Slashes do run a little bit more offensive, so Jake might be fearing that, unless he already found out from earlier in the rounds if that is more of a defensive Sand Slash or supportive Sand Slash. Pardon me.
One of the cheesier things Sandslash could do is whip out that Tectonic Rage, pick up a really cheesy KO on either of these two Pokemon that are weak to ground. Of course, just going for the raw Earthquake could also help, but you're not going to get any KOs with a non-stab Earthquake here. But yeah, we'll see what Jake decides to do.
All right, as we see that Tapu Koko switch on out.
There's Pelipper. Gonna stop the hail from falling, negate Blizzard's perfect accuracy.
All right, and we see that Sandslash go for the Aurora Veil, but it does in fact fail.
Freeze Dry into Muck, maybe calling a Pelipper switch, but not happening, as Knockoff into Vanillix, gonna knock off what is carrying that choice specs. The damage is now reduced. So Sandslash being slow now and Vanillix also having no item means Grayson's not off to a great start.
Yeah, I mean, I think Sandslash could honestly still be one of the faster things on the field, considering both the Muck and the Pelipper aren't very fast, but Sandslash is real slow on its own too.
Yeah, it's going to be kind of a
Oh.
tie between the Sandslash and the Pelipper, but it looks like Muck's going to dodge a Rock Slide being thrown at it. And Pelipper's physical bulk showing what it can do, but unfortunately flinching there.
All right, and we see the Freeze Dry just go on ahead and finish that Pelipper off.
Very unfortunate flinch there. Probably going for a Tailwind or a Brine or something like that. But a knockoff from Muck gonna take off the light clay that Sandslash is carrying. So yes, it is a defensive set here. Probably looking to boost the turns of that Aurora Veil to really buff up Grayson's team.
Absolutely. So we've really gotten a lot of information on Grayson's team so far, with both of its items being knocked off, revealing them. So now I think if when Jake goes into the second game, he has a little bit better idea of what that opposing team is going to be doing.
Alright, Tapu Koko comes back in. It's ready to throw out some big electric attacks, especially Thunder if it is carrying it. Of course, it still has to watch out for both Vanillix and Sandslash doing too much damage, as it can only take out one at a time.
So right now, this Muck is honestly sitting pretty fine. Granted, it doesn't want to be taking too many attacks because it can only use its berry once, but still, I really think he's in a pretty good position right now.
Yeah, the Duck Lola is saving Jake from playing the prediction heavy game because anything that Grayson switches in is liable to get hit by knockoff or poison jab for super effective, such as this Tapu Lele. And if Jake did indeed poison jab into a steel type for the read, though he just switches.
Alright, and we actually see that Golduck come in and a Volt switch into the Vanillix.
And that's not going to knock out. There is
Ooh.
Vanillix's special bulk its showing its colors again. So Vanillix is going to be able to get off an attack here. A powerful freeze dry, or something else like a YOLO Blizzard here.
Yeah, Blind and Blizzard. As we do see the freeze dry just come out into the muck.
And Muck is going to take that very nicely, eat the berry, get back up to near full health here. Ready to intercept this Tapu Lele. And then Golduck here as well, really threatening, exerting threatening pressure.
There we are.
That's the one. Onto Tapu Lele with that Z move, or just being able to take out Vanillux. But, yeah.
So without that Vanillix being able to change the weather, I really think Jake is going to be in a good position. So Grayson does want to preserve that Vanillix for later.
And Sandslash comes back in hailless, of course, and about to take some damage probably. Tapu Lele is going to go for a protect, not going to faint this turn. But Jake correctly identifying that Lele is going to protect here. Goes for the Scald, knocks out Sandslash, which used to be Vanillix.
And we see that Muck just going for the poison jab into the protecting Lele.
Yeah, but this is still risky because even though the Sandslash is gone and Vanillix is going to set up Hail, Muck is still in a very prime position to take out that Tapu Lele in one hit. And Vanillix being as weak as it is, Tapu Koko in the back can just come in and use Dazzling Gleam to pick up the easy KO.
Yeah, and I do not remember if Jake's Muck is revealed if it has Shadow Sneak, but if he does, I believe he still has the Koko in the back just to switch it in and Shadow Sneak that Vanillix.
Right, he can also do that. But I would expect Poison Jab to come out here from Jake, as well as possibly a Protect from Golduck, or maybe just like Hydro Vortex into Tapu Lele and see where it gets you.
Alright, because even without the weather, I still think Hydro Vortex will be doing a lot, but we just see the Skull going right into that Vanillix.
Yeah, so Golduck here outspeeding Tapu Lele. That's good information for Jake here. As Tapu Lele reveals it has Psy Shock. That's a pretty rare move to see. Targets physical defense instead of special.
And that's a good piece of information for Jake to have, that he knows that his Golduck will be able to live that Psy Shock.
And Tapu Lele takes the Poison Jab and eats the berry, but thanks to Hail, or maybe not thanks to Hail in Grayson's case, it's going to be in range for another Poison Jab to take it out.
Alright, in this game, I'm pretty sure that Jake just has it wrapped up. I don't really think there's too much that Grayson will be able to do to come back here.
Well, if there's one mon to do it, it's Muck.
Absolutely.
Alright, so we have two Mucks on the field now, and without a proper way to hit it, Jake is going to have to spend a lot of effort trying to take that Muck down. Tapu Lele, though, it's probably got a limited number of turns left. And we still have the Z move from Golduck, so.
Yeah, and we did see that. I believe that the Golduck was the fastest thing on the field last turn. So it could just fire off a Z move and hopefully be able to pick up enough damage onto that Muck.
We see Protect from Golduck. He wants to stay around, see what the other Pokemon do. As Tapu Lele also going to protect itself, doesn't want to get knocked out to Poison Jab yet.
Alright, we see the opposing Muck going for the Poison Jab into the Golduck, and the knockoff actually going right into that Muck, getting rid of its berry.
That was a really good call on Jake's end. Gonna knock off the berry, make sure that his own Muck is going to play on an even playing field because it has already eaten its berry. And protecting Golduck ensured it didn't get knocked out and preserved the Z move for this turn. So now if Jake wants to, he can just pop the Z move wherever he wants, and that's a lot of damage regardless of where it goes.
Yeah, I think if he just targets down that Lele, I think the Muck and what Jake has in the back will be able to pull this game through.
That Hail not working in Grayson's favor despite it being his own weather. Tapu Lele taking just a tiny so chip to make sure that it's within the range of that poison jab.
Yeah, that's one of the things you always have to consider when you bring Hail is that you will be chipping your own mons quite a bit throughout the game.
Alright, and here's the Waterium Z coming out for Jake's Golduck. And of course, I would expect to see it into Tapu Lele, but even if it goes into Muck, that's some meaningful damage, especially since it doesn't have a berry anymore.
Yeah, now I think if it does go out into the Lele, I think that's going to be a lot of damage. Oh, it does actually go into the Muck, huh?
Alright. Yeah, still doing quite a bit of damage here. Tapu Lele is going to throw the Moon Blast out. Do some damage to Mug, maybe hoping for a critical hit or something along those lines.
And we just see the Poison Jab just go into the Lele and pick up the KO.
Alright, so now Jake is up 3-1, and Grayson's Pokemon is taking more damage from Hail as we speak. Psychic Terrain is up, so even if Muck had a Shadow Sneak, it can't use it to KO the Golduck at this point. Oh, actually, okay, never mind, it can. I spoke a little too soon there.
At this point, I think if you're Jake, I think you're pretty happy with the position you're in.
Yeah, I also think even though the Hail will knock out your Golduck, you may as well attack, and the match will be forfeit. Looks like Jake will be taking game 1 off of Grayson here. Some keys there were that Grayson allowed Jake's Muck to get off a lot of attacks almost for free.
Yeah.
Really only doing damage with the Vanillux, but after losing that Choice Specs, there just wasn't enough damage to keep Muck from staying healthy.
Yeah, that Muck was really just able to sit there, knock off items, do a little poison jabbing. So I really think that Muck was probably the MVP from that game.
And we can't count out the Golduck as well. The Golduck did apply a lot of pressure using that Z move, but Jake, knowing the timing of when to pop it, used it quite effectively, even if he hit into a Protect. Using Skull to take out weakened enemies, of course, and outspeeding Lele, probably the most important piece of information Jake could have gotten from that set.
Absolutely, that's a very odd thing to see, because Lele is a pretty speedy Pokemon.
Alright, so Jake may want to stick with the same game plan. He may want to change some things up. Grayson, on the other hand, will have to avoid falling into the turn 1 pitfall he did last time, where he set up Aurora Veil, but the Hail was gone, so it didn't
Absolutely.
happen.
So I think something that we could see from Grayson is maybe leading with the Sand Slash and then switching in the Vanillux if he really thinks that their Aurora Veil is that important to his team.
Right, but that's also dangerous because the Sand Slash will not have the speed boost that is granted by the Snow Warning. So it's really kind of up to Grayson to determine how he wants to use his Sand Slash, or if he even wants to bring it at all. He could swap it out for Kartana, and that would really help in the Rain matchup.
Yeah, I think the Kartana would be a very nice adjustment to see from Grayson because it is able to do a good amount of damage to a good amount of Jake's team.
Alright, Grayson taking down to the clock again. Really needs to assess what he wants to do in order to win this game, but maybe a little unfortunate that it just timed out.
Hopefully he had his Mons locked in, but we shall see. Alright, as we hop right into the battle, we see Grayson lead with the Vanillux and the Sand Slash.
Alright, and Jake is going to lead with Golduck and Muck. So, very interesting switch up here. Didn't lead Tapu Koko this time. Potentially afraid of Tapu Lele coming in as a lead here. But no, it's just the Hail lead that Grayson's used in the first game.
Yeah, so that Hail lead, it looks pretty good right now, but when you see the Golduck sitting there, you always have to think, is that Pelipper going to come in? Am I going to go for the Aurora Veil, and is it going to fail again? So that's really a mind game that I think Jake is going to have to, or pardon me, Grayson is going to have to play against Jake.
Yeah, Grayson does have that speed advantage from Sand Slash, but Jake is going to protect his Golduck from any attacks this turn as Sand Slash goes for that Rock Slide. Going to do a little bit of damage to the Muck.
Always got to try to flinch, right? Rock Slide's one of the best moves in the game historically for a reason.
Freeze Dry into Protect. And a flinch occurs. There it is. I think Grayson is actually 2 for 2 on those flinches so far.
Ah.
I guess one thing that we didn't talk about Sand Slash was that it learns a lot of moves with the side effect that can flinch.
Yeah.
Rock Slide, Iron Head, Icicle Crash, those all have higher chances of flinching, not critting. But I mean, if you're flinching every turn in a row, it might as well be critting, right?
Yeah. What's better than being able to hit them hard? It's making them not hit at all.
And we see Golduck being taken out for Golduck, or not Golduck, Pelipper, the other duck. Gonna start that downpour.
Alright, and we just see another Rock Slide come out into both of those Pokemon.
Alright, and Vanillux is gonna get that Freeze Dry off this time. Gonna take Pelipper right out of the game. So if Grayson decides to switch his Vanillux and get it back in, Hale will be up for the remainder of the game.
Though as we did see last game, that Hale was actually kind of hurting his team last game.
Alright, Knockoff taking off the choice specs of Vanillux, not flinching this time. Muck decides to let his opponent get his first turn damages in.
Yeah, I grant you this damage. Alright, but let's see what Jake is able to bring in here.
Alright, Jake is delivering quite a bit about what he wants to bring in. The Sand Slash is significantly slowed thanks to the rain being up now, and Golduck coming back in to threaten both of these Pokemon with some water moves.
Yeah, I think I feel as if that Vanillux has to get out of here, especially since the Sand Slash is on the field. That Sand Slash is not going to be able to do too much without the Hail up.
Right, and there aren't very many switches that Grayson can go to safely. I mean, Muck is probably the best one he has, but even in rain, he's not going to be enjoying this attack.
Absolutely not, but we do see that Muck just come in.
And we see the Z move coming out. Is that into the Vanillux, or is that into the Sand Slash?
I think I would predict it to be into the Muck. Because I feel like the Protect on the Sand Slash would be what I would predict at least.
Alright, we actually do see it into Sand Slash though, so goodbye, my friend. You may be Ice type, but you're not Water type.
Yeah, that's a crit, but the crit definitely did not matter. Sand Slash not known for being the most specially bulky Pokemon.
As a Poison Jab into the Muck switch in, doing actually a bit more than I thought it would.
Yeah.
And another knockoff there will take the berry right out. So we'll see how Grayson can handle this. He's going to set that Hail back up.
Alright, so right now, that Golduck, even though it is facing down a Mon with Freeze Dry, that is going to be a pretty big threat.
Yeah, Golduck in a little bit of a sticky situation. He has to take damage from one of these two Pokemon, and I can guarantee you he doesn't want to take damage from the Vanillux.
Yeah, Vanillux is such a threat with the Freeze Dry, able to do such amazing amounts of damage. So we just see that Golduck going for a Protect, avoiding that.
Vanillux is going to throw out that Blizzard here. Going to just do some general damage, but without that Specs boosting it, it's not going to do as much as he hoped. The berry is going to activate for Muck before knocking it off, so if Grayson chose to knock off, it's not going to be connecting here.
As he just goes for the Poison Jab into the Golduck, as we see Muck go for the Poison Jab into the Vanillux.
That gets the poison.
Ooh, that's rough.
Yeah, that might be enough to take it out, actually.
It's going to be super close.
As Hail continues to come down here, take a little bit more health off of our Pokemon. Our non-ice cream friends.
Yeah. Ice cream cones are immune to hail. Did you know that?
Yeah, but did you also know that you could poison ice cream?
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure somewhere in history that's happened, right?
Probably. As Tapu Lele reveals itself to be the last Pokemon in Grayson's repertoire. So Jake still hasn't shown his fourth Pokemon, and if I'm not mistaken, it's probably going to be that Tapu Koko.
Yeah, I think Tapu Koko would be a really nice mon to have here at this point.
And with Muck still pretty healthy on Jake's side, it can definitely do more damage here. Knocking off Muck might be a top priority though, since you don't want it to have that berry.
Yeah, being able to have that Muck just be able to get almost all of its health back with that berry would be rough, but also facing down a bulky Lele is also not that great if he's able to deal with Jake's Muck. But let's see.
Scald from Golduck into the Tapu Lele. Gonna pick up some early chip damage. No burn. And here comes the Moonblast into Jake's Muck.
Doing a pretty nice amount of damage as we just see the opposing Muck go for a Poison Jab into the Golduck.
Alright, not gonna pick up the poison here as Knockoff does indeed target that Muck. Knock off that berry. You don't want it. It's past lunchtime.
Yeah, it might be poisoned.
As hail continues to fall here. And that Scald was pretty hefty. I think definitely putting that Lele into range of whatever Tapu Koko has for an electric move. But with the speed advantage Jake has still with his Golduck, it's looking pretty grim. Tapu Lele will be able to get off another move so long as Jake does not get a critical hit or maybe hit a Hydro Pump.
Yeah, so I think the Golduck really should just be focusing on either targeting down one of these Pokemon. Because right now, if he's able to knock out the Muck, he can bring in his Tapu Koko and Electric move. But something that he has to consider is that if he is running the Thunder, he no longer has 100% accurate Thunders.
Alright, and the Berry proc from Tapu Lele is going to bring it back to over 70% health. And Moonblast here just going to try and pick up Muck, which it should at this range. And yeah, that is a KO.
I think if I was sitting in Jake's position, I really think I would have targeted down that Muck.
Yeah, Muck here really important for Grayson, as it is one of the ways that he can guarantee KO the Tapu Koko here on Jake's side. Well, but if Jake actually reveals his last Pokemon as Crocodile, he's actually in a much better position than either of us had anticipated.
Yeah, we just assumed that it was in fact the Koko, but it is that Koko.
Alright, so Tapu Koko gonna come in, reset that terrain. But now it's kind of a mind game. Do you go after Muck, or do you go after Tapu Lele?
Yeah, because you can probably live one Moonblast. Probably you're not going to be able to live the Poison Jab. So I think right now, it's just going to come down to that mind game, as you were saying.
Yeah, Grayson could either call the Protect or just go for an attack and Volt Switch into Muck, going to knock it out.
And that is able to pick up the KO.
As Tapu Lele goes for a Calm Mind. Ooh. So that's going to give Tapu Lele a bit of a special defense boost. Going to be able to live that Volt Switch for sure next turn.
Yeah.
But if Jake's running a right Drain Team, he probably is carrying Thunder.
Yeah, and I think the Thunder, it's in the electric terrain, I feel like it'll probably pick up the KO from this point.
Yeah, but at first it's going to have to hit, right?
Absolutely. It's called Blind Thunder for a reason.
Blind Thunder. Here we go. And Thunder connects, so is this enough to KO the Tapu Lele?
As we see, it is enough to pick up the KO. No crit needed.
So much damage.
Alright,
and so Jake takes the victory over Grayson with a 2-0, finishing it off with a clean Blind Thunder. And even in that situation where he missed, take it to Game 3.
Yeah, that's always the nice thing about winning your Game 1, is that you can have the ability to make those risky plays, because if you lose, it's not over. You still have Game 3 to make adjustments.
Well played to both players here. I like the changes Grayson made in Game 2. He just decided, I don't need a Roar Veil, I'm just going to go for the Rock Slide and hope I get a couple of flinches.
Yeah.
Which definitely happened and definitely contributed to putting him in a better position to take that game. But in the end, it looks like Jake's damage from Tapu Koko was too much.
Yeah. Tapu Koko is one of the best mons in the format for a reason.
Alright, and I believe both sets have finished, so we will be on to finals in just a few minutes here.
Alrighty, we will see you soon.